tell us about some of the things that you've seen in your work with mothers who are just juggling so many things that they feel like they've lost who they are.
Well, I think that what you just said is part of the biggest things that so many women, mothers deal with is, who am I now? I kind of knew who I was before, and now this new role and this new human has entered my life. And while I love it, I also am missing parts of me that I don't know how to reactivate, or I don't know how to show up with in this season of my life. That can look like maybe cutting back on work, or choosing to stay home, or being a working mom and then feeling guilty because you are a working mom. And it's like, no matter what we do in this season, we are struggling with trying to decide if it's the right choice a lot of the times, and a lot of guilt can come with that. I also think that we lose this individuality that we used to have, where we're not just caring for ourselves anymore. And the mental load of that can be so heavy and exhausting. And often I have a therapist who I love. I've been with her for 7 years, and often I'll go in and I'll just be like, why do I just feel so different at work right now? What's going on? And she's like, you are different at work right now because you're different. There is more on your plate. There's more on your mind. And something she always reminds me is that you can have everything. You just can't have everything at the same time. And so part for me of trying to figure out who am I now is being able to learn how to prioritize my life in a different way. And with that comes some grief of letting go of things from before this season that maybe they'll come back in the future, but right now it's just not a part of the season of life. And I think that's what so many women struggle with.
I love that, it's like the two things can be true. You are a new mother, you have new roles, and you are the same person. Things have changed. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. I think that women feel that they can't talk about this, that people feel like, well, you should be happy because you have the beautiful baby. And isn't this what you wanted? Right? But we're not really validating how it feels. And it's hard. And talking about it and normalizing it is, you don't feel so alone. You feel like there's a sense of community. And also, like, it's biological. Changes happen in our brain. Our hormones change after you give birth. Even in the third trimester of pregnancy, your hormones drop, so you don't feel the same way. And so I think talking about that openly also allows people to be like, okay, it's not my fault. This is a part of life. This is typical and natural, and I know what to expect because I know what's happening. And I think that's why we really need to talk about this openly, even with menopause. Like the next stage of life for women where we go through it. We don't know what we're experiencing we don't know if it's normal or typical. We just think it's us, and we internalize a lot of shame, guilt, and blame. But if we understand that this is a change in our bodies, we didn't do anything wrong, this is a typical natural part of life, then that really takes away the stigma, and then we can actually utilize steps to help and support us. And there's nothing better, I think, than the supportive community when people are talking about it openly and sharing tips and helping each other.
Yes. And I also think there's not a lot of postpartum support. We're given all these appointments and doctors to prepare for the baby to come. And then after that, you're sent home and you're like, good luck. And I found myself being like, I don't even know how to breastfeed right, and all these new things that come that, like you said, when we can have communities where we can talk about it and say, do you feel like this? Because I feel like this. What did you do here? Maybe that will help me. That's where we're able to find connection and then support to move forward.
I know. I remember when I gave birth, they wheeled in like a TV and then played something. And I'm like, I'm not going to remember anything I see. And I'm a medical doctor. I was like, how are other people doing this? Because I studied this in med school and I still can't retain all this knowledge. Thank God for the mom groups. I was on those Facebook groups and what did you do? And which lactation consultant and da-da-da. So I feel like, yes, we need our communities, and that's why online support is so powerful. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but there's also really good information, and getting the support of people like you that openly talk about it and provide evidence-based support and knowledge.